On today's episode, tragic news for Bronny James and the James family. Suffers a cardiac arrest in a workout just yesterday. What does this mean going forward for him, the James family, and basketball players in the future? A lot to discuss here. Tune in. What's up, everyone? It's another episode of the Tricky Guy Sports Podcast. It's your host, Brent Bilski, a.k.a. Double B. What is going on today? You know what? Life comes at you fast, and that's what we're going to focus on today. I want to talk specifically about one big thing. I had this whole show planned. I had all this other stuff, NFL, Saquon, Jaylen Brown re-signing his new contract, all these interesting things, Summer League reactions, blah, 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 blah. And then, like I said, life will come at you quick. Like, the best example I can think of for this, like Spencer Rattler. Anyone remember Spencer Rattler? Boy, Spencer Rattler just a couple years ago was at Oklahoma University, a Boomer Sooner quarterback. He wakes up, it's 2021. He's a Heisman favorite. He's the starting quarterback for nationally ranked Oklahoma. He's a projected top 5 pick on his way to the NFL. He's doing great. And then the season, starts off a little rocky, but he's doing okay. Still top 5 pick, still Heisman Trophy candidate. Then the Red River Shootout came. I don't know how many people remember this. I thought this was a bigger story and should have been talked about more. So Spencer Rattler goes from being the top guy in the world. He wakes up that morning. He's about to go play in the Red River Shootout in Dallas. He's about to go help Oklahoma beat Texas. He's probably, thinking, man, I'm going to go ahead and solidify my draft status, maybe throw for 4 or 5 against our rival. All the fans will go nuts. I'll have a great day here in Dallas, maybe go out to Deep Ellum or wherever else and, find a few girls to celebrate with and all that. And in one day, after he got benched at halftime and a freshman named Caleb Williams came in and took his job away,
and it's gone.
Life came at Spencer Rattler very, very quickly. You can think of Wally Pipp way back in the day for the New York Yankees, all the way back in the 20s. He was sick one day, had been playing for the Yankees, was a star first baseman for years, and the next thing you know, he got sick. One day he gets sick, and a guy named Lou Gehrig showed up, Mr. Iron Man himself, the legend, and Wally Pipp was never seen in a Yankees uniform again. Life can come at you fast, and like I said, it's just one of those things that happens. But unfortunately, while those are kind of cute or kind of fun stories, today's is not. And we're going to focus on Bronny James, the eldest son of Lebron James. In case you missed it, and this is pretty sad here, last night during a workout, Bronny James, eldest son of LeBron, super athletic kid, 18 years old, projected top 20 pick, next season, on his way to USC, already had huge NIL deals, suffers a cardiac arrest. This is nothing small, man. This is life-changing. Like I said, life is what happens while you're busy making plans, as the James gang and the family found out last night. So in case you missed it, Bronny James is now stable and out of intensive care unit involved after following a cardiac arrest. And to be honest, look, his life is forever changed. Can he come back and stuff? We'll get into that in a little bit. But Bronny James, eldest son of LeBron, suffered cardiac arrest Monday, is in stable condition. The James gang released a statement saying yesterday while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. A James family spokesman said that the medical staff was able to treat Bronny. He is now in stable condition, no longer in ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for the James family, and we will update the media when there is more information. LeBron and Savannah wish to publicly send their deepest apologies and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes. And just a bummer all the way around. There's really no other way to put this. The fact is, this kid was on his way to something doing very special here. As you can see, this is back when he was at Sierra Canyon, but this kid was on his way, man. Again, 18 years old, USC, son of LeBron, projected top 20 pick. He's going to go join his dad next year and, join whatever team, and they're going to be the first real basketball father-son duo we've ever seen. Ken Griffey and his dad did it in baseball, but it doesn't happen in basketball. This kid, just everything was going his way. He had one of the biggest, if not the most NIL money of anyone. He's the son of the, considered GOAT of basketball. They're going to get to play together, which no one gets to do. So he's working out for his one-and-done year at USC. Suddenly he has a heart attack, and everything Everything is now up in smoke, and it's just sad. It's just disappointing. It's frustrating. I'm sure if you're the James family, I'm sure if you're Bronny right now, as happy as you are to just be healthy and to be okay. I mean, the guy was in intensive care. And so there's a lot of things to break down here. What does it mean? What can we, discuss, the future going forward? What does it mean for Bronny? What does it mean for LeBron? What does it mean for the NBA? And while I know a lot of people are trying to say that, hey, we don't even know exactly what's happened yet, and that's absolutely true. We still are waiting for more reports to come out. But the fact is, it is something that has a huge impact, not just on their family, but on the basketball world in general, and maybe in even health and an understanding of what is going on in young athletes today, as he is by far not the first one to go through something like this. And so going back to the article here is, like I said, Bronny James now stable after being in intensive care, got support from Damar Hamlin, Bills safety Damar Hamlin. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember him from last year, just gave the SB to the Bills training staff, the safety for the Buffalo Bills, who on Monday Night Football had a cardiac arrest, almost died, and is now playing again. However, I need to warn you here. If you really think that this is a similar situation, it's not. It's just not. This is a totally different scenario. So I'll break it down here in a second, but Damar Hamlin did go out to say on Instagram, prayers to Bronny and the James family as well. Prayers here for you guys, just like you have been for me through my entire process. However, I will repeat this here. This is not Damar Hamlin. What happened to Bronny is something that we've seen in a lot of basketball players and something that affects a lot of male basketball players specifically. Damar Hamlin was collision-based. Yes, they both had cardiac arrest. So if you're one of these that says, well, hey, Damar's going to come back and play, he's doing fine, slow down. What happened with Damar Hamlin was totally different because it was based on the collision. It wasn't actually just a collapse. LeBron's son collapsed during a workout. He just fell down, a la Hank Gathers, Reggie Lewis. There's a lot of names here we'll get into in just a little bit. But Damar Hamlin was actually, it was the weirdest thing ever. It was called commotio cordis. And I'll even show you here what it says. Hamlin experienced commotio cordis, a rare cardiac condition that occurs when there's blunt impact to the chest at the same moment the heart is preparing to contract. So it was just the weird, once-in-a-lifetime rare fluke, and it happens mostly actually to baseball players, as it goes on to say there if you want to continue to read it. But, I mean, there's just this millisecond where Damar Hamlin was playing football. As his heart was contracting, he caught a hard collision right in the chest. Those two combined in the very rarest of rarest situations can cause the cardiac arrest. That's what put Damar Hamlin out and almost killed him. This is not what happened to LeBron James' son. This is not what happened to Bronny. What happened to Bronny was more typical of what they call SCD, or sudden cardiac death. It's really serious. This is something that is going to, I really don't see Bronny coming back. Not 100%, not the way that he was, and I'll explain more why here. But there was, now this is obviously, I'm not a doctor, I'm speculating, but there are other people with medical degrees apparently speculating on this, as we had a doctor on Twitter put this up, Dr. Jeanette Nishai, somebody or other, but claiming at least to be a doctor. So again, take this with a grain of salt. This could all be nonsense, but this woman claims to be a doctor here, and said, I'm glad to see Bronny's son, who went into cardiac arrest playing basketball, has improved. One of the common causes of cardiac arrest in teenagers is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, an enlarged heart. This can be easily diagnosed with an EKG or an echo. So we don't know specifically what has caused it, if it's something more similar to, Shaq's son, Sharif O'Neal, who was able to get surgery and is able to come back, or is it more like Hank Gathers or some of the others who did not come back. We're not completely sure on exactly what's going on. But what I do know for sure is that this has zero to do with the Damar Hamlin situation. So let's go ahead and put that out of your mind. That was a collision-based, rare, fluke timing situation of right when the heart was contracting. They said it takes milliseconds to get that to happen more than once, is almost impossible. So they feel that Damar's fine. When somebody like, a LeBron James's kid, Bronny, just flat out passes out and just collapses on the court, as it's been reported as what happened, that is not the same thing. That is something we have to take extremely seriously. So it's just an overall sad, frustrating thing for the family. And unfortunately for USC, this is not something that hasn't happened before, which is even more bananas. The fact is, this is the second straight year that a Trojans player has suffered cardiac arrest in July. Now, the last guy was able to come back and play, which does give you some little bit of hope. But again, it's not like he's been playing, back to where he was playing 30, 35 minutes. He's been on very limited minutes and everything else. But in case you didn't know this, just last season in the same university and on the same team, their center, Vincent Iwuchukwu, and was one of the top incoming freshman centers, suffered cardiac arrest on July 1st, 2022. He was also hospitalized for a few days and returned to play for USC in January, appearing in 14 games. I mean, how weird is that? Same team, teammate, 1 year after, same month, they both collapsed from cardiac arrest.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
I mean, that is absolutely insanity. And it's just something that really specifically hits male basketball players. A lot of people are saying, African-American, black, young male basketball players are more subject to this, as again, there is a pretty long list of players that have either died from this or had their careers forever altered from this. When you think of guys, of course, like Hank Gathers, Reggie Lewis died at 27. There was Zeke Upshaw, G-Leaguer, 26 years old. Then you had Lim Bias. Now, he didn't die from playing on the court, but his cardiac issues, along with his cocaine use from one fateful night, forever changed his life, ending it and the Boston Celtics' future. You had guys like LaMarcus Aldridge had a sudden heart issue. He ended up retiring from it. You had, of course, the teammate from USC here. There was a high school kid, Cartier Woods, just last year, 18 years old. He collapsed on the court and died from the same type of issues here. Isaiah Pacheco, if you remember him from Baylor, he was doing great. Then he had to forever retire from his, he was a projected at least second-round pick in the NBA. He had to go ahead and stop. And it's just something that is very specific to young male black basketball players, and they're still trying to figure all of it out. But in case you think I'm just being weird or controversial for no reason, this is the UAB medical study here, and I'll go ahead and read this for you, and you can read along with me.
And I read,
male basketball players are most likely athletes to suffer sudden cardiac death, said Sarah Gould, MD, a sports medicine expert and physician in the UAB Department of Orthopedic Surgery. Orthopedic surgery. She also served as blah, 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 blah. First of all, basketball requires sudden burst of cardiovascular effort that may expose heart disorders. Also, the body type of athlete selected for basketball, tall with long limbs, seems to increase the likelihood for connective tissue disorders that can affect the heart. Between 2014 and 2016, according to the Sports Health Journal, there was 132 cases of cardiac arrest. About 30% of these cases, these 132 cases, 30% occurred during basketball, and 48% survived, meaning 52% died from this. The research also suggests that survival rate could be improved significantly, but also there was studies that said which found that black male college basketball players have a very high risk that a lot of people have taken umbrage to, but the science is just the science here, and it looks like with very early speculation that Bronny is on this list of, unfortunately, these young, strong athletes that look like they have nothing wrong with them and end up having a cardiac issue. So, with all that being said and looking at going forward, what does this mean for Bronny, for the future? It doesn't look good. And look, maybe the kid can come back. We don't know. A lot of people are, again, going to point to DeMar. I hope I already put that to bed. Two totally separate situations, two totally different experiences, two totally different reasons why one, we have full confidence can play again, and the other, and Bronny, we're not so sure. But let's look at his teammate, in case you wanted to get into that. Vincent, again, I'm going to try to not kill his name here. Iwuchukwu was a star center for them just 1 year ago. Like Bronny, suffered cardiac arrest during a summer basketball workout. Now, because he was on campus, much like Bronny, the training and medical staff was there and able to provide immediate expert care, which, hey, not only good for him, but probably good for Bronny himself, the fact that they had experience with this just a year ago, which, again, is just unbelievable.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
But, yes, his timeline, just in case you know, and the way that, yes, he has been able to come back and play is not nearly what it was from before. So even if Bronny can come back and try to do something, I really don't know or think or wonder if it's even A, important, but B, really going to be anything that we, expected from the start of the season before this horrible, just tragic, just sad occurrence happened here. But so he was able to, after, again, it was in July 2021, he goes down. He was able to return to practices in 2022, medically cleared to play in January 12th, 2023. However, first game plays only 5 minutes. Next game only plays 6 minutes. He only ended up playing 14 games for the year, had a back injury, but played 193 minutes combined, this Vincent kid did, in 14 games and averaged just under 14 minutes. So basically what the 8th or 7th or 8th or 9th guy on your bench is doing, not the star 30, 35 minute per game, style and what he thought he was going to be able to do is obviously also what they expect from Bronny. He was not able to return and just go full bore, full out. Still had to sit out a year. And again, it's still not exactly the same. So this is such a tough issue because there's so many things that are so different from case to case to case, but there's also so many things so similar. I just, I don't see it. I don't see, for a multitude of reasons, why you would continue, if you're the James gang and Bronny himself and the family, to allow him to try to even push this. And look, man, I'm old. I remember Hank Gathers. Maybe a lot of y'all don't. Hank Gathers is going to come back up in the news a lot now, so let me give you a quick refresher story. Hank Gathers is truly one of the most tragic stories, and I'm going to tell it to you here.
Yeah, okay. Here's the story I'm going to tell you. It goes a little something like this.
Hank Gathers was on the Loyola Marymount team in the early 90s. Loyola Marymount, with Hank Gathers, Bo Kimball, and head coach by Paul Westhead, was one of the most fun teams in the history of everdom. They set every scoring record on the planet, and they were led by this young kid, Hank Gathers, an absolute tank, energetic power forward. I mean, this team was so freaking fun to watch. I remember them. 120 points a game was nothing to them. They averaged 122 points a game. And they were led, of course, by Hank. And it was just, God, this guy was just unbelievable. I mean, kind of Sean Kemp and like Scottie Pippen if they had a kid, if I could think of a way to describe Hank Gathers. Super energetic. The only man ever, or maybe second in D1 history, to lead in both scoring and rebounding in the same season. The coach, Paul Westhead, called this squad the Guru of Go. Again, set every scoring record he could possibly think of, averaged 32.7 points, 13.7 rebounds, was absolutely unbelievably athletic, energetic, an animal around the boards, and just was a nonstop just go machine. Then he went down with cardiac arrest during a game, and they tried to let him come back and play. Now, there were issues as far as Hank was not taking his medication. He was avoiding the cardiologist in that last week right before the WCC tournament. But yes, I'm going to warn you here. This will be, if you have sensitive eyes or ears here, be very careful. But in case you don't know exactly what happened. So again, he had been not taking his medication. They had been cutting it back. This was the early 90s after he had already had a cardiac issue, and they clarified that he had it, and it was an abnormal heartbeat and exercise-induced ventricular tachycardia that they were trying to warn him, and they were giving him beta blockers, and he just didn't want to listen. He didn't want to hear it. He felt lethargic, so he wasn't taking the medicine. And of course, this team just ran up and down and went. He started playing good again, and then in the game against Portland Pilots Sunday, March 4th, he 13:34 seconds catches an alley-oop from his teammate Terrell Lowry and never came back. This is the footage in case you haven't seen it. And I'm warning you, it's a little sad here. Look at that. Catches an alley-oop. He's fine, right? Looking great. Team's winning. He's doing good. Right here. Boom. Hank Gathers never got back up from that. This guy who was Mr. Life, Mr. Energy, that, could never stop going, was the leading scorer, the leading rebounder, led the fastest, highest scoring team the world has ever seen. I mean, this guy was just, again, watch it. I mean, the guy was unbelievable. And he collapsed on the court. And he wanted to keep going. He had declared for the NBA draft. It looked like he was going to have a life-changing. This was not a guy who was the son of one of the richest athletes of all time. You know, he was like, hey, I love basketball. I want to keep going. I love what I do. I love playing for this team. They let him back, you know, probably because he was as good as he was, led this, you know, the nation again in scoring and rebounding in the same season, was, you know, the heart and soul of the team. Everyone loved him. They said jovial, great guy, you know, someone that a lot of people respected and was like a kid all the time. And they were just like his energy, his boundless energy. So when they gave him the medicine, unfortunately, it was like, dude, I don't feel like me. I can't play like me. So they were cutting it back, and then he stopped taking it. Then he avoided the cardiologist that last week, that fateful week after, you know, finally coming back. And then that's the last thing. Off a alley-oop dunk. It looked like everything was going great. And then Hank Gathers right here is going to stop breathing in about 60 seconds. So how? I mean, let's just get into, you know, the overall story of this. And then, I got to throw this in, though. And I will get back to Bronny. But in case you missed, you have to watch the 30 for 30 on this, or any of the documentaries on the Loyola Marymount Hank Gathers story. So in the tournament, his teammate, Bo Kimball, his best friend, someone he played with since high school, they went to USC together, got kicked off, and then they ended up at Loyola Marymount because of this weird circumstances, and they were doing great, and they were both on their way to the NBA. Then that happened. This year that it went down, Hank Gathers was shooting free throws left-handed. That was the one weakness Hank Gathers had, was his free throws. So he was actually shooting left-handed even though he was a right-dominant player, and was having some success with it. And after he passed, Bo Kimball said in the first NCAA tournament game, the first time I get to the free throw line, I'm going to shoot my shots left-handed for my fallen comrade, my buddy, my best friend, my brother, my life mate here, Hank Gathers. I'm going to shoot left-handed like he did. And he had never done it. He was not something he practiced a lot. And dude, there's sometimes if the universe isn't out there helping people out or giving someone a moment when they need one, I still have a hard time not being choked up watching this. This is right after Hank had passed, after all the tragedy. They didn't even know if they were going to play in the tournament. They didn't know if they were going to be able to continue. And to honor his fallen teammate, Hank Gathers, Bo decides to shoot left-handed. This could have gone all sorts of terrible, and it didn't.
Bo is going to take his first free throw left-handed in honor of his friend, Hank Gathers.
Bam. I mean, that's I don't even know how to explain, you know, sometimes I don't know. I don't know what's out there. I do know stuff like that is pretty phenomenal to see. But, so your USC, you just had, let's get back to Bronny now and what this means for Bronny going forward in the future. Because, again, it doesn't look collision-based. It does look like we don't know, we don't have all the medical reports or updates yet. But the fact is, he did just collapse during a workout, much like his teammate last year, much like Hank, much like Reggie Lewis, much like, again, the Cartier Woods High School kid, Isaiah Pacheco. There's a long list of young athletic basketball players that just have this issue, and once it happens, it's life forever changing, and it has led to, again, the report showed 52% of people that go through this die. So the fact that he was able to have it happen, and have it happen where there was USC training staff and medical who had experience with it from just a year before, was such a just absolute either coincidence, godsend, whatever you want to call it. But now you're USC. This is the son of LeBron James. You are just miles away from Loyola Marymount, where 30 years ago that happened to Hank Gathers. Can you honestly tell me with a straight face that if you're USC, that you can really take this risk, man? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a lot to ask a university, because it's one thing for a kid that, no offense, was well known as a high school prospect, but we haven't heard of. This is the son of LeBron James. Can you really risk him having a moment or a tragedy, an absolute tragedy like Hank Gathers on the basketball court as the Trojan program? I don't think so, man. I mean, that alone is going to be a major issue. Also, you got to consider when it comes to Bronny, the fact is he is the son of LeBron James. I mean, this is something, it is what it is, man. I mean, the fact is you are LeBron's kid. And as much as I have been on LeBron's ass for years, I will always say this: LeBron is one thing more than anything else. He's a great father. He's an absolute amazing father who has tons of money. I mean, LeBron James, one of the highest paid athletes. If he hasn't hit billion with a B yet, he's right on that cusp. And if there is something that LeBron cherishes more than anything, more than NBA titles, more than legacy, more than anything sports related, he's made it very clear that his kids come first. I mean, I still have to, again, think about, I showed you this before. He loves watching Bronny play. I mean, he does. It's going to be hard probably to watch and maybe have to have his son say goodbye to this. Look how excited. I mean, just, he's one of those parents. Way out in the court when he's not supposed to be, yelling, screaming, doing all that. I had played when he got announced that he was going to USC, in case you missed it. I'll play this one more time. This was post-game.
In the building, gonna stay here. We saw USC, just the pride that you have in him and everything that goes into that.
One of the best days of my life. First of all, congratulations to Bronny on his decision he made. I'm super proud of him. Our family is proud of him. For me personally, it's even more special to me because it's the first time someone out of my family to go to college. Obviously, I didn't go to college either. So it's just a proud moment to see my son go to college, and he's the first one to go to college in my family. So super duper proud, super emotional, but just super duper excited and happy for his journey. And today was a proud day. I couldn't lose today. No matter the outcome of this game, I couldn't lose today personally. So, but I'll take this cherry on top with this dub, though.
Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
All basketball issues aside, it's a good dude. It's a good dude and a good dad. Why on God's green earth do you think, after everything that just happened just yesterday, that he wouldn't be very hesitant and look, I don't know. And there's going to be a grieving process, and that should be mentioned as well. When you're someone like Bronny, who's 1 year away, you're 1 year away from your dream. I mean, and living and doing something that is so historic, to be able to play with your dad, which was going to happen, as this tweet shows, when Atlanta was mocked to take Bronny next year in the 2024 draft. LeBron's like, hey, James gang pulling up, dog. We coming. We are coming together, and we are going to be a duo. It was the worst kept secret in the world that LeBron was going to go wherever Bronny got drafted, and he was so close. He's at USC. He's a top prospect. He's doing great. Southern California, bunch of money, and suddenly has this heart attack that we just don't know a lot about, and we don't have a lot of positive, things to say, or that we can look to that show that even if you come back, you'll be anything close to what you were, or medically cleared to be anything close to what you were, because of guys like Hank, Reggie Lewis, and others. There's going to be a lot of concern, and the fact that he's LeBron's kid is going to have even a bajillion more eyeballs on it than any other human being that's ever had this happen to him. So, this is rough, man. When you're this close to a dream, I actually think it's easier for people in life to have a dream and not even get close to it than ones that get this close, Icarus close, and then have their wings melted and they have to fall, especially for something that's not even his fault. He didn't even do anything wrong. There's nothing that LeBron's son did that actually led to this. This is just one of those things that's part of this, just the percentages and the science here. It's going to happen to some people, and unfortunately, he's on the list of the ones that is going to go through this, and it's just brutal because that's his identity. If you haven't gone, or even, I played tiny bit. I played a little college. The ones like him, the ones that are going to the pros and especially have been around it since he was an absolute baby, this is his identity, man. This is what Bronny is. He's a basketball player. He's a basketball player first, a basketball player second, basketball player third, then he's a son, then he's a boyfriend, then he's a brother, then he's everything else. Guys like him, this is what they live. This is how they, just identify themselves to the world, and poof, out of nowhere, you're working out, you fall down. Next thing you know, you wake up in a hospital, and they're like, yeah, man, we don't know. We don't know with your situation what we can do. We don't really have any answers yet. So, the ability to grasp is going to be a grieving process for Bronny, and rightfully so. To have something, a dream and an identity just snatched away from you like that in an instant is going to go through the 5 steps. And, I mean, there's going to be, even with LeBron, LeBron himself is going to be so conflicted with this because, this was his dream as well. And what a great dream to be able to play with your kid. That's awesome. That would be such a cool thing to do. And now everything has just been grinded to a halt because of this medical issue. And, I mean, it's just the risk, I don't think, and I don't know. And maybe the doctors will be able to figure this out and say he's A-okay. We can promise this won't happen again. Again, Shaquille O'Neal's son, Sharif, had surgery. He was able to come back from a heart condition. Maybe it's something like that. We'll find out more in the future. But if it's one of these arrhythmia or tachycardia situations, these SCD situations, I mean, with all their money and all of his security, and I mean, really having no reason other than it's just his dream, and it's a beautiful dream, to risk dying for it, though. Would LeBron allow it? Would the NBA allow it? Is USC going to allow it? I don't think so. I just don't. I just don't think, and I'm speculating completely here, that going forward that Bronny or the road that was ahead of them that seemed so perfectly paved is going to be the same one. And just this is unfortunately just part of life, and it happens. I can say, at least that maybe if there's some sort of silver lining to all this, and again, we are going to find out a lot more as time goes on. But, maybe this could help. I think of Magic Johnson. I think of awareness. I mean, the fact is, this is already the hugest news story going on right now. The awareness that could be brought to this could be something very special. And maybe, because, again, it does affect so many kids and has so many, people in its wake. And apparently pre-screening and other things could help with this. Could maybe, more awareness, more education, be able to save more lives in the future, as it's right now a 50-50 shot of when it happens. Hopefully we'll see. And, I mean, not to get too far into the insensitive part, but even the effect on the NBA and going forward itself, does LeBron retire now is another question, after this season. If Bronny can't play, which is at least, let's say 50-50, just to be, positive, but whatever. I mean, there's a good chance that if he doesn't play, what's LeBron's motivation? Even Ramona Shelburne and others have said, look, LeBron's main motivation is to play with his kid. That's the main reason he wants to keep going. He's got his rings. He's already been, crowned GOAT. This really isn't important to him, another championship. What was important was having this moment. And if that moment's been taken away, does that mean that LeBron, who already talks and flirts with retirement, maybe this would be his last year when he might have had 2 or 3 years left? Is that a big deal in the huge picture? No, but it's something to consider. And it's something that needs to be discussed at some point. So again, I'll just go all the way from the top to the bottom here. This was with Bronny James and his situation. Things you need to know. This was a collapse, not a collision. This was not DeMar Hamlin. This was not a fluke situation where he got hit in the chest at just the right time when the heart was contracting. That was a 1 in bajillion chance that they most likely think will happen again, which is why DeMar's playing. This was not. This was a collapse. This was a tachycardia, possibly. We still are waiting for information, but this is a lot more in the vein and story of, again, the Hank Gathers, Reggie Lewis's, Zeke Upshaw's, LaMarcus Aldridge, Cartier Woods, Isaiah Pacheco, that level, and it looks pretty serious. If you're the son of someone like LeBron James, even though you have the dream, why risk something if it's that serious? Can USC even really being that close to Loyola Marymount, just having the situation happen with another teammate last season, would they be willing to risk it, even to put him out there and, even have the situation, the liability of, if God forbid something did happen, the horrible aftermath that would lead to that? I don't think so. NBA scouts, which I didn't even get into. I mean, these guys are wary of knee injuries, for Christ's sake. Cam Whitmore this last draft dropped like 18 picks over a knee injury, and he's fine. Somebody that has a tachycardia or an arrhythmia issue, a heart condition, is going to have a major red flag, even if he's is Bronny's kid. And again, Bronny, Great father. Do we really think that he's going to want to put him out there unless there's 1,000,000,000% guarantee that nothing's going to happen when he doesn't need to do it? And doctors probably can't give you 1,000,000,000,000% guarantee is also another issue. His own teammate from last year had the same thing happen to him. He tried to come back, this Vincent kid, and he was able to come back a little bit, but not play nearly or as long or as hard as he was able to before. So even if he did come back, would he be the same? Probably not. All this spells into the end. Again, sometimes, life is what happens while you're busy making plans. It's horrible. It sucks. I feel awful for James and the James family here. I feel awful for everyone involved with the situation. And just, it's just a tragic, just sad thing. And sometimes you just can't explain it. You can't do anything about it. And you just have to hopefully move forward. If I'm thinking big picture, maybe he'll be fine. Maybe he'll be able to come back and play. Asking me and asking what I've seen and what I'm reading, I don't think so, but maybe he will be able to. But if not, and his life does take a little bit of a fork here, could it possibly be like a magic HIV situation where we do finally get awareness on something that is a big and a constant issue, especially with male basketball players at 18, 19 years old, the collegiate level? Could this finally get more awareness, attention, studies, pre-screening, all the things that could maybe be preventative in the future? Who knows? It's tough to look for a silver lining in something that just sucks all the way around. I'm sorry that it happened. I don't know what else to say about the situation other than, fingers crossed everything goes great. And this is just a blip in will still be wonderful career and life, and the father-son duo get to do their thing as they were just planning on doing as of Sunday. It was just a couple days ago, man. They already had all this. This was already all predetermined and ready to go, and then just pow, just out of nowhere, man. Life will kick you in the ass sometimes, won't it? Sucks. Sucks. I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm kind of done with the issue for today. Hopefully we'll have more information and positive updates when it comes to him and his situation and his future in both college and the NBA. Lordy. Let's get to some videos and call today, huh?
You seen it? You seen it? Don't look at me. Don't look at me, little puppet.
Have you seen this? Have you read about this?
All right, this is all specifically for the viewing audience. So if you're on the YouTube page, good for you. If you're on Spotify or listening via audio, this is something I like to do at the end, especially on shows like today when I have to talk about something tough. Cleanse my palate with either weird, funny, or sad videos. Throw them all together, react, and have some fun. Please go to my YouTube page on Tricky Guy Sports. Search Tricky Guy Sports on YouTube, and you'll be able to ride along with us. What can I start with? Let's start with old people, huh? Start with some old people.
I guess they're right. Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
They sure can.
I'll be right back. Don't you go dying on me.
Speaking of, how about we start with, let's start with this old lady. This old lady was trying to do a soccer trick, back in the day. I guess she was quite the soccer player, and didn't go so well. I like to play the soccer in my day. I was a pretty good. Look at me juggle the ball and splat. Sometimes it happens. You could tell she could play, though, back in her day, before her equilibrium was kind of all thrown off from the old age. She looked like she was pretty good, man. Probably kick our asses in her prime, in her heyday. Just in the middle of the store, in between shopping, let me kick the ball, and then fall into the iPhones. At least she's playing soccer. This poor old lady was just at a wedding. This is just a grandma at a wedding. I don't know what's on her mind, or, I don't know what kicked in here, but maybe she just wanted to go swimming. We'll make that sports related. Maybe she just really wanted to take a swim. Oh, it's a lovely wedding. My grandson looks nice and handsome. Let me go ahead and walk by and see my granddaughter here at the pool. I'll just keep walking forward and plap. I love the screams, too. I live for the screams sometimes. I'm sure she's fine, or else this video wouldn't have been gone viral. But yeah, just minding her business. Walking in the wedding. Didn't see the, 80-foot pool in front of her. Just having a good old time. Oop. Sucks, man. Getting old sucks.
I guess they're right. Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
Okay, speaking of ladies having a bad day, I thought I'd throw this one in there for fun. You know, TikTok, I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. I do the shorts and all that as well. And, you know, people love to do their dances and things like that. This girl tried to combine a basketball trick shot with dancing and instead got a concussion for it. Here we go. TikTok dance girl. Yay, I'm going to be on the videos. This is going to get 1 million views and pow. One more time in case you missed it. Ooh, I'm doing the dance. I'm doing like the walk like an Egyptian with the cross arms and pop. One more time just for fun. 8 million views. I can feel it, daddy. Bang. Sucks. Absolutely sucks. You know what sucks is that I don't have every ability to watch every Asian sport specifically played all over the planet here. Let me delve off into this. I don't know what's up with all the time that we don't have a lot of this here. We did bring back slam ball here in America, so I'm glad for that. That's been an American Idol, a sport that I'm glad is back. Slam ball, which is basketball, football, and trampolines mixed together. That's been a lot of fun. But I don't know, man. I don't know if we can touch the Asian side of it when it comes to just weird, fun, weird-ass sports videos. So let me start off with, let me try this one. Here's a soccer clip. 3 adults versus 100 children. Yep. Look at this. 3 adults taking on, it has to be, is that 100? That has to be, I mean, look at all this, the sea of red children against 3 professional Chinese soccer players here.
Let's talk about Chinese people.
Kicks the ball, kicks it over, and a little lob. One more little lob here, and then a little header right over their little baby heads, and goal! I could get into a whole, rant about, other situations where the top male athletes of the world, other than playing other top male athletes, are going to dominate, and we've seen it. I've never quite seen versus a literally 100 little children, but the results weren't any different. I mean, when you get to be, because you'll get a lot of arguments about, well, this could beat that, and this person could beat that person. When you get to the top tippy top, this is how much they are just above the rest of us, other males included. The top male athletes, that's 100 people. That's 3 against 100. And they made it look easy. I mean, it was child's play. It was nothing. Not quite this, though. Hockey. And I didn't even know they had hockey in Thailand. Apparently they do. And they're just about as crazy as even American hockey players times another 1,000 here. This was a hockey fight in Thailand. And I don't know what this dude's doing, but I love it. I love it. Nice hockey fight here breaking out. And we got Homeboy fighting an invisible man. Look at him go. Everyone else is fighting real people. There's plenty of people to fight. He has plenty of options. Not my man over there. Not Whack Job McGee. Let's get this into, close up and slow motion. Yeah, take that. Take that, ghost. Take that, repressed childhood trauma. Maybe he's bully from 3rd grade. I don't know. I don't know who he's fighting. He's kicking his ass, though. He's absolutely beating the crap out of him. Look at him go. Oh, he's worn out now. No, one more punch. One more to grow on, and he hits his hockey stick because he's crazy. I love it. I love it. What else do I love here that I can bring you just for fun? Oh, speaking of wannabe tough guys, I love when this happens. I love when someone who pretends to be tough gets his up and comings. I don't know what backyard street fight this was, but this is one of these asswipes who decided, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put my hands down because I could take a punch from anyone because I'm the toughest SOB. I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm the baddest man on the planet. Look at me. I'm Brock Lesnar and everyone else. Frank, whatever his name was, Frank Mir, UFC, whatever. Combine them all. I'm the toughest man in the world. I can take a punch. I can drop and take a punch. And I can just keep on going because I'm the baddest sumbitch on the planet. No, you are not. Anyone catches one on that spot right there is going to sleep just like you did here. Look at this asswipe. Yeah, I could take it. No, you can't. I mean, what an absolute idiot. What did he think was going to happen here? Yeah, I You can punch me right in the face. I ain't even gonna feel it. I ain't even gonna feel you punching me in the grill because I'm the toughest backyard boxer with these backyard ropes. You can go ahead. You ain't gonna do that to me. And go to sleep. And go night-night. And one more time. Maybe have your gloves up next time, asswipe.
Honey, take a good picture. I'm dead.
Idiot. Absolute idiot. One last one. This wasn't really an idiot. This wasn't his fault. But, man, I'll blame the people who designed this. Somebody decided to put the 100-meter dash, like, right next to the outside track wall. I don't know why they held this event here. I don't know why no one thought of this before. And this poor bastard paid the price. Sometimes, even in victory, you'll lose. Even when you lose, Billy, sometimes you win. And even when you win, Billy, sometimes you lose. But a white man can't jump for you. Even when you win, sometimes you lose. So 100-meter dash. They're off. Kid's doing great. Look at the bottom corner here. He's running. He's doing awesome. And watch out for that.
Honey, take a good picture. I'm dead.
One more time in case you missed it, because this kid was booking. Who designed this stadium like this? I mean, yeah, they don't have, anti-lock brakes, man. I mean, pow! The poor kid, what did you expect to happen? Look at this poor guy. He's got to go all out, man. It's a close race. Can't just come to a stop just because you want him to, and then all of a sudden...
Honey, take a good picture. I'm dead.
Sucks. Life comes at you fast. Life comes at you fast. Clock also comes at me fast, and it says I got to go. I'll be back next time. Talk to you then.